dispense with the quorum call?
Without objection.
Thank you, Madam President. In our constitutional republic, the President represents the will of we, the people. He does this more than any other elected official in this country because, alongside the Vice President, he is the only office holder who is elected by the entire nation, state by state. And in November, the American people gave President Trump a powerful mandate to secure the border, lower inflation, rein in spending, restore our standing in the world, and usher in what he terms is a new golden age for America. And to be certain, the administration is seeing a lot of success, and the American people are very pleased with what he has done. However, on many fronts, the Trump agenda has been held up in court, not for legitimate legal reasons, but because activist judges want to block as many actions by this administration as they possibly can. In the last 2 months alone, judges issued more injunctions, and in February that was 15, against President Trump than they did against President Biden in his entire 4 years. There were 14 against him. Now, these judges are not issuing rulings on small details in narrow cases. They are trying to stop policies at the heart of President Trump's America First agenda. What we know that the American people, and indeed Tennesseans whom I represent, what they want to see is a government that is going to be transparent, a government that is going to be accountable, a government that will be a good steward of their money. But activists on the left can't get what they want at the ballot box. They lost on November 5th. They lost, and they can't accept that. They can't get what they want legislatively. They don't have the votes. The American people said, we're tired of leftist DEI, ESG policies. We're tired of 2 tiers of justice. We're tired of seeing waste, fraud, and abuse in the government, reporting it, and the bureaucracy does nothing. Zip, zero, nada. They're tired of that. And they are pleased with the actions that are being taken by this administration to hold the bureaucracy to account. Not for just what is some of what they are doing, but for every single penny that they are spending and every decision that they are making. Now, as I said, we've got those on the left. They can't get what they want at the ballot box. They can't get what they want legislatively. They're looking at governors and state legislators who are not giving them what they want, which is control and power over the American people. But that is what the American people are saying, oh no, we're not going to let you have that. So what have our colleagues on the left decided to do? Well, there is one branch of government that is left for them to try to go in and say, you do it for us. We have failed. We can't get it legislatively. We can't win these elections, but we're going to count on you. And that is the judiciary. So what we have seen and what is troubling so many Tennesseans is activist judges that are on the bench, but all of a sudden They're trying to act like they're Supreme Court justices. They're trying to act like they have the authority to take down the decisions and actions of a president who is delivering what the American people want. So our colleagues and friends on the left are now depending on the judiciary to rescue them. To rescue them. They've failed because they are wrong. And the American people said, we're not with you. So now we have these judges. They're stepping up. They're a district judge. Now what we know is this. A district judge has a case before him. His decision or her decision applies to that case. And it applies to the district in which that judge is seated. But oh no, these activists on the court, they've decided they're going to make nationwide injunctions to try to stop some of President Trump's policies, which, as I said, are policies the American people have said, we want to see this done. It's like cutting down the size of the federal bureaucracy. The American people are loving what DOGE is doing, but the leftists go to a district judge out in, of all places, San Francisco, and they have that judge issue an order to block what the president is doing. So this district judge out in San Francisco, the left coast, appropriately named, directed the administration to rehire thousands of terminated bureaucrats. Tennesseans and a lot of Americans also want a government that spends taxpayer dollars responsibly because we have $36 trillion in debt. $36 trillion in debt. Now, the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, has already found north of $140 billion in waste and fraud. They've identified this, and we are working to save this money for the taxpayers. But here again, the left can't pass what they want on the floor of the Senate or the floor of the House, so they go to the judiciary. And they say, you stop them, because we can't get enough of the taxpayer money. We want more of it, and we want to shove it out the door to leftist NGOs and organizations and nonprofits. We want that money so we can waste it the way we want to waste it. Now that is, in essence, what they are saying. They want the power and the authority to waste your money. That's what the Democrats are working for. Well, DOGE is working for the people. For the people, and go pick up those founding documents. People, we, the people, it is in caps. It is in caps. But see what happens with the bureaucracy? The people stand up to be the people, and all of a sudden the leftists say, oh no, this is our sandbox. We gotta have more spending, we gotta have more money. We wanna waste it all. Who is going to pay for this? It is going to be our kids and our grandkids, because it not only affects our nation's solvency, that addresses our nation's ability to be a sovereign nation. Now, we've got activist judges, and all these NGOs, they're just up in a tear over this. So you've got a judge that says, oh no, you've got to send this money out. Are you kidding me? They don't want to save the taxpayers' money. Now, I think one that has come up so often with Tennesseans, and the reason this issue of these out-of-control leftist judges came up on our telephone town hall last night. By the way, we had thousands of Tennesseans on that call, and it had to do with deporting these criminal illegal aliens, Tren de Aragua, MS-13. And to my colleagues, I remind you, we have deemed them foreign terrorist organizations. These are not people that are our friends. These are people who are terrorists. They are gangs. They have murdered. They have raped. They have robbed. But we have some of our friends on the left who are saying, oh, you can't deport them. You can't send them to the gang prison in El Salvador. You got to bring them back. Are you kidding me? Show me somebody that actually wants to have more murderers and rapists and robbers in their community. I invite anybody. If you want to go out there and protect rapists and murderers and robbers, you come on down here and you explain why you would like to have them come. Madam President, if they are for that, I would like to hear why they are. But what we see happening is these activist judges are undermining our nation's Constitution. In each of our nation's 677 district judges, there is no veto power over the president. None. They do not have it. There is nothing that gives a federal district judge veto power over the actions of the President of the United States. Now, if they did have that power, they would be circumventing the will of the people, and we would no longer be a sovereign nation. The separation of powers works both ways. Judges must respect the president's authority over the executive branch. That is his jurisdiction. To ensure that happens, my Republican colleagues and I are introducing the Judicial Relief Clarification Act. Now, this is being led by Senator Chuck Grassley, who's chairman of our Judiciary Committee. And it would end this harmful practice of nationwide injunctions, make temporary restraining orders against federal or state governments immediately appealable, and ensure the courts can only issue relief for the case or the controversy before them. A district judge in San Francisco or anywhere else should not ever be deciding national policy. That is not something they have the ability to do. Altogether, these provisions would help restore federal courts to their core purpose, which is administering justice under the rule of law, not deciding nationwide policy. Madam President, I ask unanimous consent that the next portion of my remarks be placed separately in the record.
Without objection.
This week, we're moving forward on a budget bill that will help unleash the Trump agenda that the American people voted for in November. At the top of that agenda is making life more affordable for families across the country, especially after they have lived through 4 full years of what everyone has termed Bidenflation. Now, to do that, Congress must extend the first Trump administration's tax cuts. This is the 2017 Tax Cut and Jobs Act. And this will deliver historic tax relief to hardworking Americans, which we did in 2017, and it would make it permanent. When you see it made permanent, this would supercharge small business growth. and provide certainty for our Main Street small town businesses. Another thing that it would do is to restore U.S. global competitiveness. But if we let many of these provisions expire, then at the end of the year, Americans are going to face a $4 trillion tax hike. Think about that. A $4 trillion tax hike. The bill that we will bring forward will prevent that from happening by extending these crucial tax cuts. It will be so important for our families. In Tennessee, families already under Biden are paying $1,700 more every month because of inflation, just to buy the same basket of goods that they were able to buy in April of 2021. This is what Bidenflation has done. So to support President Trump's agenda and get it across the finish line, it will bolster our nation's security, help rebuild our military and restore peace through strength, provide for border security, unleash energy production, provide a path to return federal spending to pre-pandemic levels. With this Trump agenda budget bill, we are going to deliver on our promise to the American people to do our part to pass the president's agenda and to make this nation safe and healthy and prosperous and great again. I yield the floor.